It's the album that changed everything, Metallica's Black Album. In Cause and Effect, Metallica, author Chris Aiken takes you back to the lead-up, the release, and the shockwaves that followed. Relive the moment that divided fans, reshaped heavy metal, and turned commercial radio on its ear. With insider stories and personal memories from rock critic and radio personality Chris Aiken, this book is a backstage pass to one of rock's most iconic moments. Get your copy now at chrisaiken.net or on Amazon. Don't miss out on this epic journey through heavy metal history.
Hi, everybody. It's David Ellison from Megadeth here, and you are watching CMS TV.
Well, then let's bring him right to the stage. There he is, finally. Ryan, how are you, man?
Man, that was such a great intro and everything. We turned so cold, and modern technology just took a dump on it.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm glad you didn't hear anything that we talked about afterwards, because I was kind of going on a rant about the political situation in our country at this point. So,
yeah,
it was something. So.
You know what? Since I've lived in England now for 7 years, and nothing twists my nipples more than somebody from that is not from the United States talking to me as if they know about United States politics.
Sure.
So that is a sensitive subject for me. So yeah, it probably is. It probably is a good thing that I didn't hear that, or else we'd go left field for like 3 hours.
Real quick though, like I kind of have an idea which way you lean, but is it true that in that part of the world they're going pretty woke over there?
No, not at all. I'd say that it's weird because I've spent a lot of time back in the States the last year, and I've come to the opinion from what I've seen on the media over there and everything that they really want to paint the world in a certain picture, and then when you're actually living over here, you realize just how off their picture, how abstract their picture is that they seem to be painting for everybody else that is there in the States. So it's very strange to be living over here, being so close to Europe, just a stone's throw away, and being very in touch with everything going on there, and then coming back home to the States, and listening to, catching a newscast while I'm sitting in the lobby of the hotel or something, and just realizing how screwed up the brushes they're using to paint with.
Why do you think they're doing that? Do you think they're doing that to create chaos on a world level so that nobody's, cooperating with anybody?
I don't know. We could go down this rabbit hole on politics, and
Yeah.
it's. I really think at the end of the day, I'm not going to act like I'm smart enough to understand it, but I'm sure in some aspect it just had the basic core of it. I think is just trying to maintain control, and that's the bottom line of pretty much anything that any of them do, is just trying to maintain keeping the uninformed, and keeping the ignorant to what's really going on. So I mean, it's all part of the puzzle.
Right on.
You are right about that.
Well, dude, let's transition from politics to something fun. Let's talk music.
Amen.
We definitely want to talk about the No Authority tour. That, of course, with The Killer Confession, Above Snakes, The Failsafe, and of course, Drowning Pool. But before we get to that, let's just backtrack a little bit. After, a decade and a half away, roughly, you rejoined Drowning Pool. Talk a little bit about that. Was it difficult to come back? Did you have fences to mend, or how did you end up coming back?
It was just a weird night, man. It was I started getting text messages one night from Stevie, and if anybody out there knows Stevie's like the one true born and raised Texan in the band. CJ and Mike are both New Orleans transplants.
Right.
They both moved to Texas. I mean, they've been there most of their life. They moved there in their high school days and lived in Texas since, but they're originally New Orleans boys. Stevie is the one Texan. So when Stevie messages you or even calls you, there's usually something behind. There's no fluff. He's not one for fluff. He's very straightforward individual. So all of a sudden one night he starts texting me, and it wasn't about football. So I knew something was up.
Right.
I knew, because since myself and the band parted ways, the only time Stevie and I have communicated is when it has something to do with football. So one night he's blowing me up, and finally about an hour into it, I was just like, dude, are you okay? Like, everything all right? And he's like, yeah, man, everything's great. And then there was a pause, and he's like, well, actually,
Right.
because we were wondering if you'd be interested in come back and doing some like reunion shows. And I was like, without missing a beat, I was like, yes, man, absolutely, that'd be awesome. And then we chatted back and forth just a little bit longer, and he said that the manager they had at the time, he's like, he'll be in contact with you, man. We'll work it all out and get it all figured out. And about 24, 48 hours later, I got a message or got a phone call from their manager at the time, and he was just like, yeah, no reunion shows. You're just back in. We got shows coming up. We got to figure out how to get you into Texas so you can get some rehearsals in and get these shows ready to go. So, it was just, it was a no-brainer. We laugh about it now because back, whatever it was, 12 years ago, the last phone call we had together was, man, everybody's a little burnt out. You think we should take a break? And it was like, yeah, we probably should take a break. We didn't think it was going to be 12 years long.
Right. Well,
It's-
let me ask you this, and we've had Tim from your other band on, and Tim's a
Yeah.
personal friend of mine as well, so certainly know him. How do you approach, well, I'm going to do this as well, and not have them think, well, you're taking away from Soil to do this?
At the time, we're just coming out of, we're not just coming out of COVID. We've been out of COVID for a while, and Soil really hadn't started moving yet.
Okay.
There was still, there was still a lot of, I think a lot of, as there was with a lot of the different entities within the music industry at the time, because if you remember, like when COVID did finally start to dissipate, the industry came back, and then all of a sudden it had to get silent again, and it came back. So I think there were certain entities, certain factions within the industry that didn't give a shit anymore, and they were just let's just move forward. As soon as every time the green light would shine, they just ran for it. But there was also those though that after the green light shone and the red light followed so quickly, that was very hesitant to move forward. And Soil was we weren't moving forward. So when the opportunity came to do this, it was kind of a no-brainer on my part, because I just wanted to get back to work. And not just that, but also to get back with Stevie, Mike, and CJ, and to be doing this music, to be able to do this music that I wrote 12 years, that was so much a part of me.
Right.
So being able to do that again. Now, I absolutely was respectful of the situation, respectful for everybody's opinion, feelings, I should say. So, I mean, I did do what I feel like was the right thing, which is I brought it to Tim. I talked to Tim on the phone about it. I was like, hey, this opportunities came about, and Tim was cool, very cool about it. Didn't give me no grief or nothing. He was like, well,
Right.
do you want to do it? And I was like, well, yeah. He goes, well, then do it, man. He goes, neither one of the bands really are doing like back in the day when we spent 12 months, we spent 11 and a half months out of the year on the road. Neither band has that kind of schedule anymore, so let's do it. I didn't realize though that once I gave the green light to everything, all of a sudden both bands were going to wake up and start touring like mad. So the past year's been crazy, but no, to answer your question, yeah. I did what I felt was the right thing and talked to Tim about it. But we're all grown ups. So everybody's going to do what they need to do.
Right.
How has the industry changed? I mean, I'm looking at Spotify, and Bodies has 512 million plays, and I mean, you should get $1 for every play. I mean, you guys can't sell CDs the way that you used to. I mean, don't you want to punch Spotify in the face? I mean, how does that work?
Dude, the way it works is that back in the day, when Spotify and all these things came about, you had record labels making deals with them, because at the end, and not whatever. There's nobody to throw underneath the bus anymore. But the deals were made to the fact that the label was getting their cut. The entity, whether it was Spotify, whether whoever it was getting their cut, and then the guys actually making the music was sitting here, back in the back corner, hoping to God somebody threw them a piece of gristle or something to chew on. And those were when the days those were when those deals were made, and we're still underneath that same. We're still underneath those same numbers. We're still underneath the same deals. I mean, it's messed up that it is that the artist is the last one to see any the scraps from the table, and it's been that way from day one with all this online stuff. And I'm not bitching about it. The social media is as evil as I think it is in the grand scope of things. It has been a great tool for bands to be able to be in contact with the people out there to allow us to do what we do. But at the same time, when you're looking at those Spotifys and you're looking at those things out there, God bless their hearts. They ain't done the artists any favors on the backside of things.
No, they've done just the opposite. And I'll disagree with you here. I think they've made it to where you guys' work doesn't have value to most people, because the expectation now They don't look at you having an idea at 3 a.m. and writing it down or pulling out an acoustic guitar and recording it on your phone and fleshing it out for 8 months with other songs as art anymore. They just look at it as, well, that's that free shit. I can go to YouTube and I can get it. And I think it has devalued what you guys do to where we've had several musicians come on and say they feel like they're t-shirt salesmen now instead of artists, because all you're doing more now is looking for ways to get people to shows to buy shirts to keep you alive versus people really connecting with music. They don't connect to music anymore.
This started back when, when my brain just went numb, but, went blank. But when Napster, when Metallica tried to take a stand on that, and I remember doing, back then they had all those like online media sessions or not media, but online like fan things where they would bring one of us on some platform and they'd allow fans to come on and ask us questions and stuff like that. And somebody came on one time and he caught my attention because he kept saying a couple pointed things, and I started really paying attention to what he was typing out to me. And he didn't understand what the issue was with Napster at the time. And I'm saying this just using that as a reference because really that was just kind of the beginning. That was like a taste of what was to come type thing. 'Cause, but my point being is he didn't understand why it was wrong and what it was doing. And finally I asked him, I said, well, dude, where are you from? And he said, Michigan. I said, what's your dad do for a living? His dad was in the automotive business somewhere, factory wise. And I said, so if your dad, if everybody in the whole world can go to your dad's factory, wherever your dad works and buy, and I said, and can buy that widget, or in his case, that car, buy that widget that he is producing and not pay a dime for it. Not pay his employer anything for it. How long is your dad's employer going to be able to employ him if he's not making any money off the widget that your dad is building? I said, and he was like, I said, the songs are our widgets. The songs are our widgets. If you're not paying for the widget anymore, our employer, the label, can't pay us anymore. And finally it sank in, but it was like this process, and that was 20 years ago, and it's only gotten worse since then.
Well, the worst part about it, Ryan, is that the industry castigated fans like no other. I'm sure you remember all the lawsuits that they were suing people that were downloading on Napster and downloading this catalog and that, and $750,000 a song and all these crazy numbers. But what did they do? Then they built their whole model around it. The industry is now built around Napster. Here, you guys finish a record today, it's up later today on YouTube and Apple Music and Spotify and Tidal. And, they literally stole the model that they said was bad so that they could profit from it. It really is an ugly, just swathed into a business that used to run so smoothly.
It's weird, Ben, because I think the music industry always felt so safe because no matter what the state of the economy was in throughout history, the entertainment business has always been like recession proof. Everybody always was able to scrounge a few bucks to go see a movie or to get away from reality and entertain themselves in some way. But then all of a sudden, so I think even when the whole Napster thing started happening and when all that started happening, I think the industry was just like, we'll always be around. We've always been around. We'll always be around. We'll be fine. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, we went from like 30 major labels to 2.
Right.
And it's just, first there was the consolidation, then all of a sudden, next thing you know, we're down to just a couple of the big boys left anymore. So it's you're absolutely right though. I mean, they use these internet platforms that are out there, but the artists themselves, that hasn't, the whole setup that was happening back then hasn't changed at all for the artists. So the artist is still sitting, like I said, hoping that somebody throws them a piece of gristle or something.
Right.
So,
see, now another question for you. Like, I'm happy that bands like Drowning Pool, Soil are back doing their thing, because personally, I think the state of rock music today is kind of taking a step back from what it was in the 2000s, like early 2000s and stuff like that. What do you think about rock music today?
there was a point in time, I don't mean for the big dramatic pause, right? But I've had the change of heart. There was a point up to maybe a year and a half ago that if you would have asked me the same question, I would have been negative Nelly about the whole thing. And it all came from like my basis of thought. I could always sum up the best from my little story, and I know I keep telling stories, but talking to a friend of mine on XM radio there and back in the States,
Sure.
and she said something that caught me off guard, and I thought it was funny. And so I messaged her and was making fun of her basically for it. And she was like, she responded to me about, you don't know how hard it really is when you're told to push this band or that band, and you do, and 6 months from now they're not around anymore.
Right.
Because the money's not there. They're not making the money touring. Like you said, everybody glorified shirt salesmen nowadays. They don't have the name. They don't have the name. They didn't make the name 20 years ago, so they don't have the presence in order to make necessarily those shirt sales that it takes when you're not getting the guarantees at the shows. So those bands come and go very quickly. So there was a point in time, like I said, just maybe as soon as like a year and a half ago, I would have said the music industry scares the shit out of me, especially for new bands, especially for new artists out there, because I don't know how they're going to make it. But I do know after this past year of being able to be like on the Danny Wimmer fests and being then over here in Europe doing like the Wacken over in Germany and Brutal Assault and all these Alcatraz and stuff, the festivals over here.
Sure.
And there's some good new bands out there. So I've got like this rejuvenated hope that they've discovered a way to move beyond just the glorified shirt salesman. They found a way to do it, because I'm seeing the bands out there, and I don't feel like I was seeing them, necessarily that a while back, to where I think we're on an upswing, man. There's some good young talent out there that's just killing it right now.
Right. Is it the perception here, and you know this, the perception is that it's super hot in Europe, it's cold as ice here in the States. Is that how you see it as a musician that, lives there but performs here and there?
You're always going to, like, metal fans, rock fans, they are some of the loyalist fans that can be, and they've had to be. That's not me tooting their horn or nothing. They've had to be, because their flavor wasn't what was popular. So to maintain being a metal or rock fan through these years in the past couple of decades, man, you had to be true blue, because you weren't in the majority. You weren't the flavor of the week. You weren't the popular style of blue jeans that day. So for a long time, so you've had to be. That type of fan has been great no matter what country, no matter what region you're talking about, whether you're talking about the States or whether you're talking about the UK or Europe. The one difference, though, is that the percentage of people in the market that are fans of rock or metal.
Sure.
There's your difference. That's you like if you're in the UK, if you're in England and you ask somebody if they're going to download this year, they look at you like you have two heads, because I'm alive, I'm breathing, of course I'm going to download
Right.
this year. It's a way of life.
Right.
It's just, Motorhead, Lemmy is still, you have like, there's Jesus Christ and there's Lemmy. There's not really, there's not one over the other. They're right there next to each other. That's England. That's the UK for you. Then that's Europe. The states have those fans too. I mean, you go to Welcome to Rockville, you go to Sonic Temple, you go to any of
Sure.
those Upheaval, you go to any of that stuff in the states, and you see. I mean, dude, we had a blast this year doing those festivals and stuff, and seeing just how alive and well the rock and metal fans are in the states. So they're as prevalent, that soul of the rock metal fan is still alive in both areas really well. It's just the only difference is, like I said, if you talk to a school teacher here and ask them if they're going to up or going to download this year, as the same as you talk to the guy working out on the road, down the street, it's the same thing, because it's just a way of life here. It doesn't matter what what your job is in life around here. You're typically a rock metal, a fan.
But see, that's where I think I have an issue, though, is that there are all these festivals. So Sonic Temple may be a great festival and everything else, but I think for a lot of fans, they're waiting for their favorite bands to come to town. Like, I would love to see Drowning Pool come to, the badass bars that we had, or clubs that we had downtown Cleveland for the Odeon or whatever it was, rather than me having to travel 3 hours to go see 30 bands. I mean, I think that a lot of these big, huge festivals are taken away from my favorite bands just coming to town and let me go see them.
I hear you. This isn't be said. This isn't true about every promoter. You can never say the definite 100% whenever you're talking about anything. But I still, what I run into a lot of times on the road, touring wise, I've spent this last year. We have Drowning Pool. We have beaten the piss out of the states, and since I rejoined the band, touring wise, we need to let the states breathe a little bit, because we have just been hitting every nook and cranny we could get. And one of the problems that we keep running into, and we have for years, whether it was Solar or whether it was Drowning Pool, it didn't matter, is you would play a place. You play the House of Blues in Cleveland, Ohio, and a week later you're seeing a message on Facebook or something where somebody's going, "Man, when you guys coming back to Ohio? You guys haven't been to Ohio in 2 years or whatever." You're like, "Dude, we just played Columbus. We played Cincinnati. We played Cleveland. We played Dayton, man. We hit, all within the last 3 months." But a lot of times your promoters out there, they think promoting a show is putting a few posters up in the club that you're playing in, and that's promoting a show. And they rely so much on the band putting it on their social medias as if people are visiting the band's page every single friggin' day.
Right.
And they rely on that to get the word out there that the band is coming to town. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know personally, not only are we doing these big festivals, but we're also hitting every stinking club we can.
Sure.
That's awesome.
But I think a lot of times it just goes, people don't even know the show's coming through town or was through town, because of just the lack of promotions that are going on and the lack of awareness that's out there to allow people to know that, man, we're coming to town in 3 days.
Right. Are you tired? And the reason I'm asking you specifically, I mean, Jesus, dude, you have been super active lately. I mean, I know Soil did the tour here, then you did the tour over there with Union Underground. Now, there's Drowning Pool stuff that you've been doing. You just played Wacken, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or whatever that was.
Yeah.
I mean, you personally very busy, and then you're getting ready to go back on tour again here for the new leg with No Authority, man. So how are you doing vocally, and are you tired?
My voice keeps amazing the shit out of me. I don't know. I keep waiting. I keep waiting for it to wave the white flag. But there's been, and I'm doing more shows now. Like back in the day, we did maybe 4 shows in a row tops. Nowadays, we're on average. every run that I've done with Drowning Pool in this year has had at least a few 6 in a rows on it and stuff.
Oof.
And we look at each other and we're like, man, we wouldn't have liked this when we were, when we were 20 years younger, let alone now.
Right.
But
Right.
we keep getting through it. Yeah, the first tour I did this year was way back, January, like March with Union Underground Soil, and from there, I've had maybe 2 days off here, maybe a week off there, in between a month and a half long cycles. So luckily, my wife has been really understanding, and because I've spent I've spent most of this year on the road. So yeah, I'm feeling it right now. This last tour that we did with over here in Europe, connecting the festivals together and everything, soil wise. I was so looking forward to this break because it was the first time that I had more than like just a few days. I actually had 10 days in a row to be able to go home. So, and then the tour that you're talking about here, the Drowning Pool tour, starts up. So yeah, I'm tired. The voice is tired. It's going to be once this year does wind down and the holiday season comes about, I'm going to be enjoying. My throat's going to be enjoying not yelling so much.
All right. You bummed me out a little bit here, and towards the end, but because you said that you're married, and I'm happy for you. I think that's great. I always wanted to be a rock star but I have no talent, and so that part kind of sucks. But I wanted to be a rock star because not only for the money, which Spotify has taken, but because I want the groupies and the hot chicks hanging out like the bus and all the beers and everything happening, and the ride to the venue and after the shows. Is that who's better as far as groupies go? Is it UK or the States?
Oh, I've always, my wife just sat up taller in the chair in the living room. She's waiting for the answer on this.
What would the other guys in the band say?
Yeah, what the rest of the guys think?
Well, what I've heard,
yes,
and this is just hearsay.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea. I think, like I said, dude, rock metal fans they're good everywhere.
All right, good answer.
That's a politically correct answer. Honey, put down the iron. Don't throw it at me. Well, dude, we haven't even talked about it yet, so let's talk about No Authority Tour, man. Obviously, you're out with Killer Confession, Above Snakes, and The Fail Safe. Talk about this tour and what you guys are going to be playing, as Drowning Pool.
This is an opportunity for us to kind of take one more stab at some dates in the States here before as the year starts to wind down.
Sure.
And we're looking forward to it. We did a run of dates with Killer Confession right before I did this European run with Soil. So it'd be good to be back out with Waylon and those guys. And we had Above Snakes is with us with a run that we did with Saliva just a couple of months ago. So it'll be good to see those guys. So just really looking forward to the package and getting to do some dates that we haven't done yet. Because like I said, we've beaten up the States in the past year or so since I've been back in the band, but we haven't had the chance really to get out west yet. We've actually got some dates out in California. So we're actually getting to a few markets that we haven't been to as much as we have been in the States, actually getting to hit some markets that we haven't been to. So looking forward to that. And we've got, I don't know, I mean, the fact that the album, the tour is called No Authority, if nobody's none the wiser yet, it's all going to make sense soon as to where that's coming from. But, there's some new music to throw in the set and some, and that's what's fun too. Also talking about like new music to throw in the set. It's always fun doing the Drowning Pool runs because there's so much. The band has such a great catalog,
right?
That we're able to change things up. When you look at the fact that you got the Dave Williams era, it's hard not to separate an era just because it's kind of easy to.
Sure.
But you got the Dave Williams eras. You got Dave, Jason Jones, you got myself, you've got Jason Moreno, and being able to pull. I love the fact that you're naturally going to have fans, Drowning Pool fans, that are fans of Drowning Pool, no matter what the era is. But you're also going to have fans that this era was their favorite, or this era was their favorite, or whatever. And we have the opportunity to pull songs from all those different times, so that people, when they come out to the show, they're hearing something. No matter what their favorite era was, they're hearing
Sure.
something from it, and that's been fun to do, and it's been fun for me to be a part of it, to sit down with these guys and be like, let's do this song, let's toy with that one, and everything like that. It keeps the set fresh for us. It
Sure.
keeps people, like I said, we've been hitting the States a lot lately, so it allows people to come out to multiple shows. There's been people I know that I've spoken to that have seen us 2 or 3 times in the last 9 months, and but the show's different. The show, the songs we're playing are different, so it's fresh, it's new, it's keeping it interested for us and for others. So we're looking forward to it.
Obviously you have to play, certain songs, Bodies and Sinner, and those types of songs.
Right.
But for the stuff that's not the Dave Williams era, do you like playing the other stuff, or do you look at it and be like, man, I'd rather play my own stuff that I wrote?
Well, politically correct or not? Yeah, I do enjoy it. I love doing the Dave Williams era stuff because he was a friend.
Sure.
And part of this, going back to 2005, part of me getting with the guys was not only because I love those guys, because Stevie, Mike, and CJ, but it was also my love for Dave.
Sure.
And it was his mom giving me the golden blessing there that finally pushed me over the edge and be like, okay, yeah, I can do this. Okay, we'll do this. So I love the feeling that I get being able to carry those songs to tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And because to me, keeping those songs going is also keeping Dave's name there. It's
Right.
keeping. So I love that. I love doing songs from that era. But there's also just good, like Step Up and Love and War and Killing Me, and there's great tunes off the Desensitized album. There's One Finger in the it's a different vibe, but there's really cool rockin' tunes from the Jason Moreno era that's fun to wrap my head around. And of course I missed playing the 37 Stitches. I missed playing Enemy. I missed playing Soldiers and Turn So Cold and all that stuff. Feel Like I Do. So it's great to be able to play the songs that we did together, over a decade ago. And yeah, I like doing it all. It isn't tongue in cheek, and it isn't being politically correct when I say that.
Right.
There is aspects to all of it that I find enjoyment in. If this was me 10 years ago, you'd probably get a different answer.
Okay.
But this is me at the point that I am in my life, and I'm just enjoying. There's something to pull. There's enjoyment to pull out of all of it. Just the fact that we're able to still do it. The fact that people are still allowing us to do it. You find joy in that, and then you find joy in just taking little nuggets. And it's really cool to then play those songs out live, and see the reaction and see the response from people that are happy to hear that tune or this tune or whatever, because they weren't so sure they were going to because of the lineup change.
Right on, man. Well, obviously, man, No Authority Tour is hitting the States here, end of this month. Where's the best place we should tell people to go to keep up with you and Drowning Pool and Soil and all that, and all your other ventures?
Well, we've got drowningpool.com, but we've also, everybody's on the old Book of Faces, so the official Drowning Pool site, or my own official Ryan McCombs official page. We stay on. We're very active on that stuff. You could always be more so active, but all the information for tours and everything is all right there. Cool. The bands in town, the Drowning Pool information's all there. Yeah, there's a lot of different methods that you can jump on and see what we're up to.
Very good. Well, one more time, it is the No Authority Tour. It is kicking off here a little later this month. Ryan, I figured you mentioned Feel Like I Do, so I figured we would end with that to wrap this up. So, dude, thanks for jumping on here with the Seth Williams Show, and good luck on the tour, man. I hope it does great for you.
Thank you for putting up with the technical difficulties early on, but thank you very much for keeping artists in contact with the people that allow us to do what we do, man. You guys keep us all connected, and very much appreciate that.
Very cool, man.
Appreciate it coming on.
Take care, brother.
Thank you.
What kind of plan would bite my head if I stuck it out like a game of goddamn? My eyes are open wide and I hate what I find, yeah. The love, the hate, regret, we all have it. We all have it. Yeah. The love, the hate, regret, we all have it. Raise your hands if you feel like I do. Scream it loud if you feel like I do. Bring the hell if you feel like I do. Like you do, like we all do. Raise your hands if you feel like I do. Scream it loud if you feel like I do. Bring the hell if you feel like I do. Feel like you do, like we all do. I climb off 16 chapels and kick out every 16 stone to keep another one from feeling so broken. To keep another one from
Seth Williams loves this land, stands tall and proud. Believes in freedom, speaks his mind out loud. Mentored by Trip, he learned to be tough. Life knocked him down, but he got back up. Lost a leg, but he's still strong and true. Chasing dreams under skies of red, white, and blue. Voting for Trump, he shouts it clear. WTAM tried to bring him down, but he's still here. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. Hates LeBron James, won't wear that crown. Prefers hard work and blue jeans in this town. Radio waves try to shut him up, but Seth keeps singing, filling that cup. From the small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell, for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. Small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell, for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air.
Hey, it's Chris Aiken from Chris Aiken Presents, The Classic Metal Show, and The Seth Williams Show. Now, we know it's frustrating to have to use this website for videos, that website for podcasts, and still another for the live shows. Well, let's end that shit right now. Get the Locals app and get it all in one place. This is free, folks. You don't have to pay to get most of the great content that we're doing. Like I said, it is free. On your phone or device, just go to locals.com in your iOS or Google Play Store, install it, and create an account. Open the app, surf to the search from the bottom, and type in Classic Metal Show. Then click Join. That's it. Once you join, you can click on the triangle button at the bottom, and you can select from videos, live streams, both past and active, or podcasts. Watch and listen right there. When a stream is live, you can participate in the chat right from that screen if you choose. If you want our exclusive content, just click support when you visit the Classic Metal Show community. It's simple, and it's the best way to stay engaged with all of my shows, so sign up today. Hail and kill.